Chantel, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. Look at your awesome poster.
Thank you. I worked very hard on putting it together for you. Um,
I love it.
First of all, congratulations on second season of For All Mankind.
Thanks.
We're into it now. We're into the Cold War is starting to boil in the series, and
Mhm.
a decade has gone by since season one. And so, tell me how your character is changing and adapting to these new. I'm looking at you, and I've
The
completely
new the
forgotten
new
how to
world.
speak. Yeah,
No, that's okay.
these new
I
situations.
understand. It's such an interesting theme to explore. And I remember when we got the first two scripts, I sat down with Matt and Ben, our executive producers and writers, and the theme of change was something that we very first discussed of how much do people change? Yes, our circumstances, our situations, our jobs, our roles, friends, whatever that it might be, changes, but how much do we as humans change? And I valiantly defended, myself and Karen and thought, well, of course we're going to change. And of course we're better than we used to be. And we grow and we learn and we evolve. And then I thought, do we? I'm still the weirdo 7-year old, in moments. And so I think there was a little bit of both of discovering what really still resonated for her, and then her also being able to, after season one and so much tremendous loss and shift in her life and in her identity, what was truthful for her? Was she living in her happiest, most truthful place? And of course, everything in the world around us, what's happening, in the United States and within the space program affects them as a family, and as each character unit. But it was really interesting to discover what changed and what didn't.
Yeah. Well, the dynamics seem to change in
Mhm.
relationships and how we look at other people in our lives, and that's so well written into each script. Kudos to the writers for not hitting us over the
Yeah.
head with a lot of stuff.
That I love that about writing. I love when you read something and it allows for the audience to fill in gaps or to catch on to tiny little hints and doesn't have to lay it all out, like, and lets them either discover it or not. And that's my favorite kind is writing for intelligent audiences.
Did you grow up in Minnesota? Did you spend a lot of time there in your youth?
I did. I did. I grew up between Houston, Texas, and Laverne, Minnesota. My parents divorced, and so they each lived in different cities. And I had two very different lives. I would milk cows on a farm. It's what my father and his wife does, and my mom and my stepfather owned Subway sandwich restaurants for most of my childhood. And so it was different to go from a big city to a town of about 700 people. A very tiny world, but it's funny. My heart and my soul still is in Minnesota. It's where all of most of my family is.
I love Minnesota. I fish there a lot. Friends of mine live there,
Oh,
and
nice.
what a blessing to grow up, with that kind of grounded
Yeah,
experience in your youth.
yeah. I I hold on to it and I treasure that foundation of my youth and of my identity so much. I think of how many memories I have running through cornfields or going into the pasture to get the cows, or just experiences nobody would have. Like, I know how to help birth a cow. I know how to artificially inseminate a cow. I've seen my dad do it. I know all sorts of knowledge that will never come in handy for real life, but that I'm so happy that I've experienced. I've walked in rubber boots through knee high full of cow manure, and I still survived. So sometimes when I'm in the thick of life, I think, you know what, I've experienced worse.
It's true. You never know how any of that is going to inform your acting. So,
Yeah.
again, thank you so much for your time this
Oh,
morning,
of
and
course.
I
Thank you
wish
so
it could
much,
be a
Tony. It was
lot
such a
longer.
pleasure.